The following is a special presentation of Greene Sports Zone. This is the Tommie's Plumbing Evan Monroe Show.
Welcome back to Greene Sports Zone. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Tommie's Plumbing Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything out here on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. We'll recap the first game with Cosby from this year, preview this week's game of the week with North Greene, and all of that here in just a minute, so stick with us. We'll be right back after this billboard here on Greene Sports Zone.
The Tommie's Plumbing Evan Monroe Show is brought to you by Tommie's Plumbing, the IHOP at the Davy Crockett TA Travel Center, Ashley Drug Center, and by Gateway Ford Nissan.
Welcome back to Greene Sports Zone. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Tommie's Plumbing Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything out here on the range with the West Greene Buffalo football team. As always, I'm joined here with Buffs head coach Evan Monroe. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good. A little further apart. Didn't expect to reach that much.
I got long arms. It's a good thing, you know.
Yeah. Out here on the range though this week, nice and is it freshly mowed? I can't tell. There's clippings out here.
Jay come out here during sometime today and got it mowed down for us. So it's coming along compared to how it looked in May.
Always love the outdoor interviews here on the range because we got a beautiful backdrop and it's not as hot today. That's the good thing.
It's nice out here today.
The shade just came out. It's about 75 when the sun's out. It feels a little hotter than that, but it beats any other day that I've came out here this year.
Yes. I feel like every time we come to try to do an outdoor interview, it's like 97 degrees and I'm sitting here pouring sweat. And
it's either hot or like today it's windy. That's why we've got the wind guards on if it looks a little different. It's always something with the weather when you do one outdoors. Or if you do a haunted soft show, it just decides to rain all of a sudden. That happens too. So anytime I ever try to do an outdoor show here at West Greene, Mother Nature just doesn't get along with us. But let's talk about week one. Traveled to Cosby for week one. Started the season. I know we talked about the anticipation, the excitement of starting the season. It's always very high going into the season. You got out there in week one, didn't go the way you would have liked it to in the second half, had a good first half showing. Take me through the whole entire night at Cosby on Friday night from start to finish.
You know, during the game, you sit back and you're like, man, what went wrong? Like, that's the first thing, like, what did we do wrong? What did we have to fix? So, you know, I sat and we watched film, and you take away, I think, 4 busted assignments. It's a whole different ball game. Those 4 busted assignments led to big plays that eventually led to touchdowns. You know, you give up a 40-yard run because a guy ran upfield and they ran under him when that's not what we're coached to do. That kills you. It's a killer. You know, we missed one block that could turn a 5-yard gain into a 50-yard gain. We let a guy cross our face on offensive line instead of driving him down inside. You know, you have all these other things, little things that go wrong that compound into a big problem. And that was the story of the night. You know, first half we played with a lot of grit, a lot of high intensity. I'm not taking anything away from Cosby. They're a good football team. There's a good chance they repeat as Class 1A champs. Because, I mean, they've got 60 kids on their sideline. They're able to go 2 platoon where their starting 5 offensive linemen don't play defense. Most of their front 7 on the defensive side of the ball doesn't play offense. They've got a handful of guys that play both ways. But, you know, most single-A schools, usually you got 11, 12 guys that can really play. They're playing all night long. So it opened my eyes. We're not as conditioned as we need to be. It was a hard night. They were a physical football team, and you know, a lot of little mistakes compounded into an ugly loss. And there's no beating around the bush. We got a lot of things to fix, and that's where we're at with it.
And I know you've had a couple plays that we've seen blow up on social media too. You had a heroic catch on 4th and 15. That was one of the highlights of the season, and it was in the first half of your first game. So talk about that plan specifically and how it came to fruition and how you were able to get that on the board.
You know, it's one of the things we knew Peyton was able to go up and get one. He, in 7-on-7 all summer, he was our guy that we needed a shot play or something. He took a shot and was able to do that. Love school dismissal time.
Oh, yeah.
So as Peyton did, we lined him up out there by himself and said, hey, go get one kid. And he did. Austin threw a great ball. Peyton had to go high point it. Austin put it right where nobody else could go get it. If it's a yard short or a yard long, I think it's batted down. So, it's a great ball by Austin. Great catch by Peyton is one of the few highlights from the game that we had. So, we gotta be. We could be excited that we're able to have that threat, but we can't rely on that every play to be able to move the football. So, you look, though, there's a couple other big plays that I'd like to mention. One, freshman Aiden Thompson, he's number 15, got the nod at starting corner Friday night as a freshman. Had no completions thrown against. No, I take that back. He had one completion against him for a gain of -3 yards.
Okay.
So he had 2 tackles for loss. He had a pass breakup and an interception, and he had, I think, 3 or 4 total tackles. So I thought he played a heck of a game for a freshman being thrown into the fire on a Friday night against a team that we said all week was going to try to take shots, and they did, and he did a great job. He picked one off early in the game, give us a little bit of momentum. It was 4th down. They took a shot, tried to fire up the band, and he went up and picked the ball over a kid. And Aiden Thompson's maybe 5'5", 120 pounds soaking wet, but he's an exceptional athlete that loves the game of football and plays it the right way, and I'm excited about that young man. I thought he played really, really well Friday night. Tristan Banks had himself an interception, kind of overthrew a seam, and he was right there. And if he didn't catch it, something's wrong. It about knocked the wind out of him. It hit him so hard in the chest. But he had a great return on that one, set us up nice to try to go score, but we ended up fizzling out. We had plays where we could be successful, but we have to be all 11 guys have to go execute, and that was our problem. We'd have a play where 9 or 10 guys would execute. That 11th guy would be the reason we only gained 2 or 3 yards instead of 10 or 15. So, film study is not going to be a whole lot of fun for these guys today, because some of it, and especially the second half, was a lot of effort issue. We kind of got tired and we got lazy and we didn't want to play hard, and that's when they poured it on us. And Cosby's a team that if you're not taking every advantage of it, they'll pour it on you. So, it's one of those things. We've got to go play for 4 quarters and not be content with a decent first half.
Putting that one behind you now, you get done with the Region 1 1A champions of last year. Now you walk into a game with the Region 1 1A runner-ups last year. So it really doesn't get any easier now that you go into North Greene, another road game, even though it's a short distance across the county. It's still a road game. It'll be on Thursday night, which is a little different also, but we'll talk about that right after the break. We need to get a word in from our sponsors first, so stick with us. We'll be right back after that to talk about this Thursday's GSZ Game of the Week here on Green Sports Zone.
Tommie's Plumbing has been in business for 30 years, and we're still growing because we treat our customers like family. We are proud to do any job, from kitchen faucet installation to a complete home repipe. Tommie's Plumbing offers warranties on most products installed by our technicians. When the job is done, our friendly professionals make sure to clean up. We invite you to visit our new showroom in Jonesboro to see our quality products for yourself. Tommie's is the only one to call when you need a fast, reliable, professional plumber in the Tri-Cities.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect: games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greenville, expect the unexpected: low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at GatewayNissanGreenville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greenville.
Win or lose, it's a family tradition. "24-hour hot breakfast, cold drinks, and a table big enough for the whole team, or just your team." IHOP at Davy Crockett Travel Centers. Breakfast that brings you back. Open 24/7 right off I-81, exit 36.
Welcome back to Greene Sports Zone. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Tommie's Plumbing Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffalo football team. As always, I'm joined here with West Greene's head coach, Evan Monroe. So you walk into another matchup with another 1A opponent on the road this week. You don't have to travel as far to Cosby, but you do travel to a familiar territory out in Bayleton to play the North Greene Huskies.
Yeah.
It'll be on Thursday night. A little weird this week.
Yeah.
Mind you, if you can't make it out to the game this week, it'll be this week's First Horizon Greene Sports Zone Bachman Bernard Game of the Week presented by Tommie's Plumbing. That's a lot there, I know, but you can watch it on the Greene Sports Zone Facebook, on the Radio Greenville Facebook, and on the Greene Sports Zone official YouTube page. So if you can't make it out to the game and you're a West Greene fan or supporter, or if you're a North Greene fan or supporter and you're watching this, tune in if you can't make it out to the game. But for those that will be at the game or watching, what can we expect on the field on the Tundra on Friday night when you stand opposite of the Huskies?
They have some dynamic playmakers. The Weems kid, number one, he can flat out fly, and when he gets the ball in his hands, big things can happen. I think he had 2 kick returns for touchdowns against Chucky Doak.
He had one.
I know he had another big play on a
long pass.
Yeah, I mean he's a kid that when the ball's in his hands, they're dangerous. Their quarterback is a seasoned veteran. He plays with a lot of poise, does a great job. Their offensive line's improved. So, you know, Tilson has done a fantastic job at North Greene. He's righted that program, got them heading in a great direction. So, you know, I have a ton of respect for him and the work he's done out there and how much that team has improved in just the few years that he's been out there. I know it's took a lot of hard work on the part of him and those kids, and it'll be a tough game. You know, last year we dropped down 16-0, and we had to scrape our way back into it. I think it'll be another knockdown, drag-out fight this year. I think we match up fairly well. I think their skill guys are really, really good, and I think they might have a slight advantage there. I think we've got a slight advantage in the trenches a little bit, but, I mean, who knows when the lights come on, what's going to happen. You know, I think the team that plays the cleanest game will end up winning that one. We've got a lot to clean up from our game Friday night, or otherwise it could be another long Friday night for us. So for us this week, we're going to work on ourselves, we're going to get better, and we're going to come play Thursday night ready to play. So, but when North Greene comes out, they're a spread team. They do some different formations, and they'll do some 3-back sets. Well, they'll have the quarterback and 2 running backs signed up side by side next to each other. They'll stack them up in the backfield. But, you know, when push comes to shove, Tilson's going to get the ball to his best athletes and try to make something special happen with those guys. You know, they do some unbalanced things. They'll try to hide a tight end sometimes. And, you know, he does a lot of things that can give a defensive coordinator fits. So, I think it'll be a good ball game Friday night. It's a good test for us.
You touched on offense and some of the things that they'll present, and they've got the dynamic playmakers they have. Whenever you stand opposite of them on defense, what are some of the things that you're going to look for to kind of key in on and kind of control?
You know, I think for us is how are they going to adjust to our offense? You know, they're a base 4-down team. Looks like a 4-2-5 on film. They may drop a guy into the box to make it look close to a 4-3. How are they going to adjust to some unbalanced set? How are they going to adjust to, you know, we're a wing T team on offense, so how are they going to adjust to that? How are they going to respond when we bring motion and all that, our shifts and trades and our motions and things? So how are they going to look when we do that? That's the big question mark right now is, you know, with Chucky Doak's a spread team, so they just kind of had to roll their back 5 guys around to kind of cover what Chucky Doak was giving them. So, but for us, we've got something a little different. So how are they going to line up and adjust to that is the big question mark for us going into this week. But, you know, I tell my guys, we know the play. We know where it's going. We know our responsibility. We just have to get on our tracks and run our tracks, and whatever crosses our face, that's our responsibility. You know, it's one thing when you miss a block because you don't know where you're going. It's another thing to miss it just because you ran right past the guy you're supposed to block. And that was part of the thing we did Friday night. We blocked the wrong guy, or we just don't block a guy, and that caused us fits. So, but I expect us to be able to. I think the team that can run the ball better, and the team that has the bigger, more explosive plays will end up being the team that wins. We've got to be able to get 4 and 5 yards a carry. We can't have negative plays and get behind the sticks on first down. That's where I'm at with us. We've got to be able to execute better on offense, and if their defense flies around and makes plays, we could be in. It could be a competitive ball game. So, big question mark though is how do they adjust a 4-2-5 to fit what we're doing? So,
before I get into asking about the keys of the game, also I want to ask about how do you prepare for a Thursday night game? I know I've asked you in the past, but a little different this time. I think you have 3 Thursday night games this year. So it's a weird season where you will play 11 games and 3 of them will be on Thursday nights. Usually it's maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Now you're playing 3 Thursday night games. So when you have that on your schedule, do you treat this week as one? How do you treat a week like this is what I should ask, where it's on a Thursday night with so many this year?
One thing we had to do was kind of adjust our schedule. Thursday's usually a light day where we're just kind of walking through. But we don't have that luxury this week to do that. So we kind of extend practice just a few minutes extra to make sure we're covering everything we got to cover. 15, 20 minutes extra each day. Try to still keep guys fresh, because you don't want to beat them up from Friday, and they're already a little dinged up Friday coming into Monday, but you lose extra day of recovery from games in that mess. So you've got to find the balance. It's a difficult balance to find the balance between getting physically prepared, physically recovering so that you're somewhat fresh going into a game, so you're not just beat all to pieces.
Yeah.
And still being mentally prepared with a short week too. So for us, we kind of adjust our practice schedule a little bit. We got work to do, and I mean that's all you really can do. But surely by the last week 10 game or week 11, I don't even know whatever it is.
It's your 10th game. We know that.
Our 10th week, whatever week it is, 10th game of the year. We play Gap on a Thursday. We'll have 2 weeks of having been prepared for it. So hopefully by then we're kind of pros at what to do. So, but it's weird. I don't like playing on Thursday, but we're out of school on Friday. He said we're playing on Thursday. That's what we're doing. He asked if I was okay. Well, I said sure. I don't like playing games when we're not in school. I feel like guys aren't really, they're out of their routine and they're not prepared. The Gap game is on Thursday because we played on Halloween last year. So they said, TSSAA said, well, we'll make sure you don't play on Halloween again this year. And then the Unicoi game was, when it got scheduled, TSSAA said they didn't have enough officials for us to play on Friday. So we have to play on Thursday because it's a non-region game. We have to play it on Thursday because Friday night so many region games are happening. We had to play on Thursday, so we actually had officials.
That's the first time I've heard of that, so that might be something that we see a lot going down the road.
I think as more officials age and get older and start to retire, I think you'll end up having more and more Thursday games.
Okay.
Because that's when you don't have the officials to do it, that's what you're going to end up with.
Something we'll pay attention to going down the road in later years to see how many Thursday night games get included because of that. But as always, too, at the end of every interview, you're going into Thursday night's game against North Greene. What are the 3 keys to the game that you're going to need to carry out in order to get a win and leave Bayleton happy?
We got to limit the explosive plays. They love a big play, so we got to limit their explosive plays. We got to win special teams. They had big special teams plays the other night against Chucky Doak. And then we got to be better on offense. That's it. Defense, I don't think we played bad with the exception of 2 or 3, but like 3 or 4 busted plays. But I think we go execute our offense, limit their big plays, and win the special teams battle. I think we'll be successful.
It's hot out here now.
The sun popped out a little bit.
Sun popped out and it's hot out here now. The wind's still blowing a little bit, so that keeps us a little cool. But I think that's all I got for you. Coach, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, that's all we got this week.
I think that's it.
All right. Appreciate you once again.
No problem.
Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Tommie's Plumbing Evan Monroe Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Green Sports Zone.
Go Buffs.